When you look at elephants for centuries have been managed through dominance, intimidation, and pain, you can understand that there would be resistance to change the tradition. I've lived with and worked elephants for over 35 years, and I've learned you don't need a hook. All you need to do is find a reward that the elephant likes, and then you use positive reinforcement in the form of target training, and you can get an elephant to do anything. What we're doing with Chiang Mai is to train him to present his ear, his foot, his side, all in an effort to be able to give him medical care and foot care. And so we know that working with elephants in a positive way can bring positive results without any negative reinforcement. The training that we're using here on Chiang Mai is called positive reinforcement target training. And with an animal as intelligent as an elephant, Chiang Mai is just a brilliant student. What he's doing here is learning that there is a word associated with a body part, and he gets a reward, a whistle, followed by a reward. So he quickly learns that when there's a whistle, that means he did something right. He connects the word with the body part, and then all you do is ask him for that body part, and he places it on the target. And the target is that long stick that is being held. The stick is simply a target. It is not used as a tool to force the elephant to do anything.
Okay. When I was asked to come back and work with Chiang Mai, I knew there had been problems with Chiang Mai in his 15 months, I think it was, when I came back here. He was given a lot of grief to a lot of mahouts, and he was a bit of a handful and all those sorts of things. So when it was put to me a few months before I actually got here, the idea was to train him, obviously, and to work in a new methodology of training. So how that would go, I wasn't exactly sure. I had ideas of my own. I'd never done this before specifically myself, but I'd talked to people that had trained elephants. I'd seen things in the different places that I'd been. So I had some ideas, but I also knew that Carol Buckley was going to be here to help me out with a specific type of training that she had done and that a lot of people were using, being target training. So that was a big attraction for me to come back, was to work with him in a new way, and for me to learn more as well. I hadn't been around him at all prior to the 3 months before I came back. I had heard stuff about him through different people that I had visited here or are still here that I was in contact with. That he was certainly aggressive to his mahouts and to the mahouts in general, which can be fairly normal behavior, obviously, for a bull elephant, a young bull elephant, particularly if the environment they grow up in is conducive to that and creates those opportunities, I guess. And because things are so loose and free form here, I can picture that he would have had plenty of opportunities to show that he was going to display that aggression. And then, of course, once he displays that, then there's the problem of then managing it. It was very clear early on that he could be extremely aggressive if the situation called for it or created that. In terms of him picking up the basic principles of it, it was, from day one, he really got it very, very quickly, and within 2 or 3 days, and he certainly had gone way past what I expected, probably in 2 or 3 weeks, The only real issue was trying to sort of keep up with him, and I was learning it at the same time he was learning, and he was learning it much quicker than I was, so it was up to me to, try and get up to his level as quick as possible, and then hopefully get ahead and stay a little bit ahead so that, we could keep it progressing. As time was going on, our relationship was developing and all those sorts of things, and the training, played a big part, as I just mentioned, in developing and strengthening that relationship. So his level of aggression was naturally coming down, certainly towards me. I certainly think his level of aggression overall has come down. And left alone and given as much of his own free choice as possible is probably the thing that quite dampens that aggression more than anything else. For me, I would certainly not be wanting the animal I'm working with to be afraid of me. To me, that's counterproductive. But when you're working free contact with any elephant, especially here where it's extremely free contact, if you like, you're really in close contact with a lot of elephants. there needs to be that level of control on some occasions, particularly when you have safety issues, you have people on the ground, you have lots of places where the elephants can quickly leave the park and get themselves into a lot of trouble, or get the park into a lot of trouble, or the mahouts into a lot of trouble, have to pay a lot of money or whatever it might be. But from my heart or my consciousness, no, I don't believe. I think from a dominance point of view. But sometimes you find yourself in that situation because of the environment. I think the thing that's probably struck me the most about Chiang Yim in the time I worked with him is that he's like super smart. He's really, really sharp. And if you can work with that instead of working against it, and I'm not saying I've been wholly successful with that, but I'm hopefully learning more and more. I think there's a potential for a wonderful relationship to be had with him.
It's really such a joy to see Chiang Nim now. When I was here in June, it just broke my heart to see how aggressive he was and how frightened he was, and now he's relaxed and he's content, and it's just really heartwarming.